Good evening, everyone. It's your friend, Yawg, and we're back again for another deck tech video. This evening, we're going to be doing an artifact deck, and our commander is going to be Skrelv, Defector Mite. You see, this deck's going to be about going wide and making all those happy little Skrelv friends. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be working on this for the next hour or so, perhaps longer, but we'll give it a shot and see how it goes. All right. Now, this illustrious wander glyph, it is a 5 for a 2/2 ascend, which means if you have 10 or more permanents, you get the city's blessing. And then at the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature token. Perfect for our theme. All right, let's see. What do we got up next? So, we got a Bronze Guardian. What else do we have? Dig Site Engineer. Okay, let's try this. Hello, Proxy Lab. Welcome. I hope that little snafu with volume didn't get in the way. I hope we're all back on track now. Let me know how the voice sounds. How's the levels on everything? Everything good out in the universe there? Okay, let's see. What are we looking at? We're looking at Dig Site Engineer. Now, this Dig Site Engineer, oh, it's down here. Good volume levels. Good. Okay, I was worried there for a second. All right, so Dig Site Engineer, this is 3 for 3/3. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 0/0 construct artifact creature token. That is +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Other people, some people like to call those Karn structs after our friend Karn, the Silver Golem. You know? And that's a great way to transition into this next card, which we're just going to go for a Karn. We'll throw a Karn in there. Let's do Scion of Urza. See, because this Scion of Urza Karn, where's our Planeswalkers? There we are. That's it there. So this Karn here lets us make more of those tokens. I'll wait for that to come up on the screen there so you can see. But we'll throw that in there for now. What are we building? That's a good question, Proxy Lab. We are building an artifact deck based around Skrelv and called Titanium White. Yes, Titanium White. You got it there, little kaiju. Perfect. It's based around Skrelv. And it's going to use some of our new white Ixalan cards there. So that's what inspired this fine deck. And we'll keep moving. What do we got coming up next? Oh, and our list of cards that I sort of pre-prepared here. So it's always good to have a little bit of pre-prepared. We're going to go through some of the Skrelv stuff here to sort of just parse out new cards, but it's always good to have a basic outline when you're going into a piece here, like this deck that we're brewing up now. So a good card for any good artifact deck is Dispatch. Dispatch. This is a instant card. Oh, let's get out of here. Let's see. Dispatch. There it is. And that lets you, if you have Metalcraft, which is 3 artifacts, which we always should have at least 3 artifacts, that'll let us exile target creature for 1 white. Perfect. Anointed Procession. Let's take a look at that. We'll pull it up. Let's pull it up, Proxy Lab. Anointed Procession. Oh, I think I already know what this does, yes. N-O-I. Anointed Procession. There it is. That's an expensive card. Sometimes, let's take a look. Anointed Procession. Yes, if an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, creates twice that many instead. So this is a perfect card for this deck, but I think in this time around, we're going to go for something a little cheaper. We'll do a Mondrak. Glory Dominus. Now, Mondrak does essentially the same thing. It's just not a $40 card. So we'll keep Anointed Procession in here, but they pull up Mondrak there for you. Perfect. Works just as well. Yes, exactly. We just want to work within our good budget here. We don't want to get too crazy. I mean, every now and then you need to get a little crazy. I'm always a fan of getting a little crazy, but always good to work within your bounds. There's an interesting card that you may have not seen before. It's called Doomed Artisan. Now, this is an interesting one. Doomed Artisan is 3 for a 1/1. Sculptures you control can't attack or block. And then at the beginning of your end step, create a colorless sculpture artifact creature token with its power and toughness equal to the other number of sculptures you control. So basically with this card, you're making a bunch of sculptures, and then they can't attack or block, but then you get rid of this Doomed Artisan, and then they can all attack and block again. So almost like a little, how would you call that? Like a bitter blossom. But that makes constructs for themselves, which is kind of fun. Very nice. You pulled 2 from that set. Oh, God. You are rolling in the dough, Proxy Lab. But you know, congrats to you. A new card. Here we go. We're going to start to pull from the new cards from the Caverns of Ixalan. Okay. This is Dusk Rose Reliquary. Now, every good deck needs some removal. So we want to make sure we have our removal. There it is. Dusk Rose Reliquary. It's 1 for an artifact. As an additional cost, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Okay, we're going to have plenty of creatures lying around that we don't need, and artifacts. When it enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. It also has Ward 2, which is just a handy little bonus. Everyone loves a little bonus now and then. So this is kind of like our portable hole that we have there. It's just more set up for larger permanents. Perfect. Okay, now, this isn't particularly a Phyrexian-based deck. I mean, we have a Phyrexian in the command slot, and we've got Mondrak there as well. But I think it'll be good to have Elish Norn in here. And I'm talking Elish Norn, the new one, with the Argent etchings. Now let's take a look at that real quick. This gives us some good protection, you know. It's just a 3/5 body for 4 with some vigilance on it, and it also has that ability where someone attacks you and deals damage to your permanents. They also have to pay or lose life. We're kind of interested in the flip side of that, because its incubation is going to give us 5 artifact incubator tokens, which is good. That's just more artifact creatures. It's going to give us our creatures double strike and +1/+1. That's extra good as well. But then at the end, it's going to say destroy all other permanents except artifacts, lands, and Phyrexians. So a lot of our permanents are going to be artifacts, which will be nice. So that will be a good way to get rid of a sort of a one-sided board wipe. Nice. Excellent. We'll throw a, this is just sort of a staple card. We'll throw an Enlightened Tutor. Enlightened Tutor. It's always good to have at least 1 or 2 tutors in a deck. Let's pull that up here and show the folks at home. There it is. Always good to have at least 1 or 2 tutors in a deck. You never know. It could just be the thing you need to find that card at the last moment. And it's not a crazy one either. You're putting the card on top. So it gives your opponents a turn to find an answer for what you're working on. So I don't feel that that's completely unfair or anything like that. Just a nice handy thing to do. Now, this next card might bring a little salt. It's an artifact card, artifact creature, Aether Sworn. Some of you may know this card, Aether Sworn Canonist. Now, this Aether Sworn Canonist, it's a bit of a stacksy card. It's 2 for 2/2 artifact human cleric. Each player who's cast a non-artifact spell this turn can't cast additional non-artifact spells. So this may just slow slow down your opponent a little bit. Keep you ahead of the game, just a tad. It could be make a break in a game. Warping Whale, I see Proxy Lab says here in the chat. Warping Whale. Let's take a look at that. I always love suggestions. Suggestions are a great way for me to find new cards. Warping. Oops. Warping Whale. Let's take a look at that. What is this here? It's 2. It's a colorless and a waste there. Exile a target creature with 1 or less counter target. Put an exile scion. Okay. All right, we'll put that in there for now. I'm not sure if it necessarily fits with our artifact theme, but it does do a bunch of different things. It's always good to have a little utility in your life. That's what I say. Your little utility always helps out, and it does a bunch of different things. So we'll keep it in there for now. Here we are, another card from the Caverns of Ixalan that we'll throw in here. And this is called Fabrication. Fabrication. This is Foundry. New card here. Here we go. Let's take a look at the Fabrication Foundry. This is 2 for a little mono rock. It's an artifact. Tap to add 1 white. And then you can spend that on artifacts or artifact abilities. But the real kicker here is the second ability, which is 2 and a white. We'll tap it. Exile 1 or more artifacts you control with a total mana value of X. But to return a target artifact card with a mana value of X from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. You can keep doing that over and over again. So this is just a little handy thing to bring stuff back from the graveyard if your creature or something are dying. Mental Misplay is raiding with a party of 35. Well, welcome, Alan and the Mental Misplay crew. It's always great to have you. Thank you for joining us on this fine evening for brewing. I hope everyone is doing well. Shannon, oh, hello, welcome. This is great. We have a nice crew now to come. And we got some followers. So thank you, everybody, for following. We got Casuals, we got JG Mickey, we got Grovac and the Benoit. So very nice to have you here on the Joy of Brewing with Yawg Ross. And we're going to keep kicking it on down the road here. Now, for those just joining us, we are brewing an artifact deck called Titanium White, and our commander is Skrelv, Defector Mite. And we're going to be doing a bunch of artifact stuff and filling in some of those new cards from Caverns of Ixalan. So, happy y'all could join us tonight. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being you. You know, every person here, thank you for being you. Because everyone brings a little something different to the party. So there's our boy Skrelv right up there on the screen. So, thank you. And if you have any suggestions for our deck, feel free to throw them right in there in chat. Because I could use all the help I can get. It's never a problem asking for a little help now and then from a friend. Because everybody could use some help. Okay, we're moving on. So, let's see. I think we'll throw this in here. This is a good card for any artifact deck, especially ones that are running mono white. It's Indomitable Archangel. All right, let's pull that up and show the folks at home. Indomitable Archangel. There it is. So that is 4 for 4/4 flying. If you have Metalcraft, artifacts you control have Shroud, as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. Yes, that's what Metalcraft does. So we've already established that. Yes, thank you. Thank you, MTG Casual. I'm glad to be back doing this as well. It's been a long time. Coming for some Yawg Ross. Abaddon MGG, I'm glad you are having a good time as well. Thank you for being with us. Okay, moving along. Another creature here, another artifact creature. This will also help us bring stuff back from the graveyard. Not that we're playing heavy graveyard reanimation or anything, but it's always nice to have a little bit of reanimation. And this is a new card from Kamigawa, Iron Soul. See if it pops up here. Iron Soul Enforcer. All right, let's show that. Iron Soul Enforcer. Okay. So Iron Soul Enforcer is 5/4/4/4 artifact creature. When it attacks, when it or a commander you control attacks alone, return target artifact from your graveyard to the battlefield. Now, isn't that just handy? That is excellent. Excellent. Okay, let's see. Moving right along. So, here's the deal. I do like this Indomitable Archangel, but there's a card that I think I like a little bit better. It fits in the slot a little cleaner. See, Indomitable Archangel is nice because it gives everything you have Shroud, but the problem with Shroud is that you can't target your own things. So our thought process here is that we want something that gives hexproof, and in white, there just happens to be one. So we will look it up. That is Leonin Abundus. I think I'm saying that right. Abundus? We'll see. Oh no, let's go back. Leonin Abundus. There we are. There we got there in the end. Sometimes the road you take a little twist and turn there, but eventually you get to the destination nonetheless. Okay, Leonin Abundus. Let's pull that up and show the folks here. So this does a similar thing to what the Archangel does, but it gives artifacts you control hexproof, essentially. So that's a little bit better. We'll leave Indomitable Archangel in there just for now, in case we want to double up that effect. But, you know, we may just cut the Archangel later. We'll see. Sometimes you make some mistakes. You weave and you bob, and eventually your deck comes to something that you want. But for now, we'll move on. Now, this is an interesting card that came up in one of the latest Jumpstart sets. And it is Lita Mechanical Engineer. Ooh, that's an expensive card. That's $11. But, you know, I think it's worth it. So let's take a look at what Lita does. Kind of a unique card. It's 3 for a 3/3 Vigilance artifact creature. Also an Artificer. We may do a little bit of Artificer sub-theme here. We need a Yawg Ross Secret Lair. Hey, wouldn't that be great? I would not be against that. That would be wonderful. Back to the card, though. Here we are. At the beginning of your end step, untap each other artifact creature you control. So, and then you can tap 4 to tap it, create a 5/5 colorless vehicle artifact token named Zeppelin with flying and crew 3. Always good to have a little bit of flying around. You never know. Sometimes I build these decks and I forget to fly. Remember, those blue skies up there, they could be dangerous, especially if there's a dragon flying around in those blue skies. Okay. Lita, Mechanical Engineer. Like it. Little bit of it's not quite a Seaborn Muse effect, but gives us an extra untap at the end of our turn, which is handy. Very nice. All right. Also, I think we had a couple other followers that I forgot to call out there. So thanks to Spicy Play MTG and Loch Ness. Thank you for being a great person, hanging out with us. All right. This is a card that I like personally, and it's going to help us with our card draw. And it's Low Shield. Ooh, let's do that. Low Shield. Clockwork Scholar. All right, let's pull that up. Low Shield. There we go. So this is 3 for a 2/4 Elephant Artificer. More Artificers here. It's going to be a common theme here, the Artificers. I can tell already, because, you know, artifacts and Artificers go hand in hand like bread and butter. I'll tell you that. All right. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to attacking artifact creatures you control. That's excellent. And then whenever one or more artifact creatures enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. This triggers only once each turn. Hey, you know, you can't get a bunch of cards, but at least you get one card a turn, which is nice. Now, here we go. This is going to be sort of one of our closers potentially. A little bit of a spike of damage, but it also, if you don't spike the damage. You also get a creature out of it, which is cool. So I'll pull this up now. Now this is Michigo's Reign of Truth. Now this is another Kamigawa card. It's an enchantment. I think one of our first enchantments here, besides the Skrelv's Hive and that Anointed Procession. So this is a saga. It's our first saga though, which is kind of fun. Sagas are fun, aren't they? I like telling stories, so sagas work out real well. Saga 2. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each artifact enchantment you control. Gonna be great. We're gonna have tons of artifacts and enchantments kicking around. And then that does that twice. So that's 2 spikes of damage for your creatures there on 2 combats. And then you flip it over and it becomes a creature that gets +1/+1 for each artifact and enchantment you control, which is just perfect. Perfect for us. Settle the wreckage there. Proxy Lab says, let's take a peek. I'm always down for those suggestions. Settle the wreckage. The wreckage. Oh, let's take a peep at this Proxy Lab suggestion. Oh, let's see, where is it? Is it an enchantment? It is a instant. 4. Exile all attacking creatures the target player controls. That player may search their library for that many basic lands. Put those cards on the battlefield. Cool. That's a pretty nice card. Almost like a little fog of types, but it almost like a little one-sided board wipe, which is very nice. We'll leave that there. It's got a little bit of Ixalan flavor as well, so, you know, we're going to have all those Ixalan gnomes kicking around here, so that'll be nice. Couldn't have Skrelv without a Mite Overseer. Mite Overseer. Now, this Mite Overseer, let's go back up to that. Mite Overseer is 4 for 4/2 first strike as long as it is your turn. Creature tokens you control have +1/+0 first strike, and you can make some creature tokens with it. Those mites. Those are our favorite little guys. Those favorite little friends. Those happy little mites. Ooh, those happy little mites keep me going. Okay. Let's see what's next. Oh, on my list here I had Mondrak, but we already got Mondrak up on the screen there. Now, white is known for its stacksy nature at times, but, you know, in a deck that's not built around stacks, a little bit of stacks here and there, especially in a deck that's built around some combat stuff, will help us stay in the game. So, we're going to put this creature in. It's not an artifact itself, but it makes artifacts, and that is Myrel, Shield of Arcade. Now, Myrel, during our turn, opponents can't cast spells or activate the abilities, artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. Very nice indeed. But the kicker is, when Myrel attacks, create X 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature tokens, where X is the number of soldiers you control, which is, you know, we may not have a lot of soldiers to start out with, but we'll have some artifacts, and then those artifacts will just keep on doubling and doubling and doubling as we go along. Kismet. All right. What's Kismet there? Let's pull that up. Kismet? What is that? You're coming out of left field with all these interesting cards here. See, Lab. Kismet. Oh, wait, there we are. Artifact creatures and lands target player controls come into play tapped. Okay, so that's like another Staxy card. Think about that. May end up cutting that. I'm not entirely sure if we're going down the full stacks road, but could be good. Could be good in a deck. So like I was saying before about artificers, we're doing some artificer stuff here. And no white, mono white deck with artifacts and artificers would be complete without Oswald Fiddlebender. Now let's pull up Oswald here for the folks. Now, Oswald is a card from the Dungeons & Dragons set, and that is 2 for a 2/2 legendary gnome artificer. More gnome action going on there. With magical tinkering. It's a white, tap it, sacrifice an artifact, search your library for an artifact with a mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrificed artifact mana value. Put that on the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. This is going to be an excellent card for us, I think. JJ Mickey said Oswald Fiddlebender, which we were on the same, you must like almost simultaneously. We're on the same page there. It's like you knew where we were going. Perfect. And I'm thinking that Oswald might act as an alternate commander. I don't know if anybody else out there does this, but sometimes when I have a deck, I have the main commander, which in this case will be our Skrelv, and then an alternate commander to sort of switch up the playstyle. It's nice when you're playing a deck to switch things up every now and then, and it's easy to do that by having an alternate commander, so you can sort of play a different playstyle, but have a familiar deck, which is nice. Oh, my mustache is sort of falling off. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen sometime tonight, where my mustache just shoots right off. It really doesn't like being on my face. So, let's move along. Okay, now we haven't had any board wipes yet, so let's put in a nice white artifact flavored board wipe. And that'll be by Rexian. I can spell Rexian. I should be able to. Yawg is my moniker. Okay. Phyrexian Rebirth. I must have spelled Phyrexian wrong. Phyrexian. There we go. Rebirth. Why is it not popping up? There we go. Rebirth. Perfect. Now, I may use this one, or I may use another one. A couple of white board wipes I like that work well with some Phyrexians and with some artifact stuff. Well, Soul4198, welcome to your first Yawg stream. I'm hoping that we keep these Yawg Ross streams going into the future, especially with all the decks that I want to build here, because there's so many out there to brew. Okay, so this is our Phyrexian Rebirth. Destroy all creatures. Create an XX colorless Phyrexian Horror artifact creature token, where X is the number of creatures that were destroyed this way. Now, this I see is sort of our last way out. We're going to potentially have a lot of creatures on board, which will be nice, because that'll increase that XX there exponentially. So they're a destroy all non-artifact in mono white. Well, now that you mentioned that, we did have our Elish Norn Argent Etchings. Now that is more of a saga, but it does have our destroy all non-artifacts in there. So that's sort of a secret board wipe that we have. Okay. This is kind of an interesting card. It's Rebecca. Speaking of, what am I going at? 2 Bs there. There's 2 Bs in Rebecca. This will help protect our creatures as well. Architect of Ascension. Now, Rebecca is a lore character from Thran. Worked with Glacian and old Yawgmoth there, so familiar face. Rebecca gives all artifacts you control protection from each creature, from each converted mana cost among artifacts you control, which that's pretty snazzy, because protection isn't no thing to gawk at. The board wipe makes incubator tokens. Yes, the board wipe that makes incubator tokens. Let's think. That is what's it called? I know it, and it's going to come to me. I may even have it on this list. I'm not sure. I'll double check my notes here. Okay. Okay, this is an interesting card that came out in the Brothers' War. Sunwell. Yes, Sunwell. I'm reading that right. I knew I could read. Sometimes I don't think I can read. Not coming up. What is this? Sandwell. I can't read. See, reading the card explains the card, as they say. Sandwell. Avenger Ace. Sunfall. That is the name of the card. Thank you, Soul. All right, let's check out this card here. It's from the Brothers' War, Precons. Sandwell. It's 2 for a 3/1 human pilot. As long as an artifact creature you control is attacking, prevent all damage that would be dealt to Sandwell. And then, whenever Sandwell becomes tapped, exile the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast a vehicle or artifact creature spell from among them. Put the rest on your bottom. 6 cards ain't nothing to gawk at on an attack trigger. Actually, it's not even an attack trigger. It's a tap trigger, which means that we can use Sand Whale to crew an artifact, maybe one of those zeppelins that was from earlier. So that's pretty nice, and it's gonna help us dig through our deck there for those good hard hitting cards. Okay, Sunfall, yes. No, JG Mickey. If you have suggestions, throw them out there. Anything's good. I didn't like the Shroud as much, but it's always good to have a backup plan. Always nice to have a backup plan when things go wrong. So if we don't get those Shroud, we don't get that hexproof, maybe some protection will be nice. Okay, let's take a look. Skrelv is the commander, yes. Skrelv is the commander, when we're thinking maybe Oswald will be our alternate commander. Now this is an interesting card from Dark Steel. I don't know if a lot of people were around for Dark Steel, but it's one of the first sets that I played, so it holds a special place in my heart. And it's this card may be a little salty. It's kind of kooky, but we're gonna throw it in there. So this could be a kooky, salty ender here. It's called Soul Scour. Okay, now this is an interesting card. It is here. 10 for destroy all non-artifact permanents. Now, that's all non-artifact permanents. That's lands, that's everything. Oh, you throw this down, you're gonna be causing some trouble. You better have a win around the corner, otherwise you're gonna piss off your entire play group. Ooh, but I love it because it's just a crazy card, just a crazy kooky card, and those are the kind we like. Okay, we had a couple of suggestions here in chat, and we had Johor's Familiar. Let's take a look. I don't think it's on my list, so it's worth taking a peep. Johor's Familiar. Oh, I think I saw it up there. There it is. Okay, what is Johor's Familiar? Let's take a peep. Yeah, it's 4. Historic spells cost 1 less to cast. Not that bad. Yeah, something like this is good to have. We may put in a, what is it called? Foundry Inspector. Let's throw one of those in here while we're running down this path. Foundry Inspector. Foundry Inspector does a similar thing. Gives artifacts you control 1 less to cast. So a little cost reduction. Very nice indeed. If anyone else has any other suggestions for those cost reduction spells, I think those are the 2 that I had in mind that were colorless. But I know there's a lot in blue, plenty in blue, but not in white. Ooh, a worm coil engine. You are certainly devious. But why not? Worm coil. Throw it in there. I wasn't expecting to go down that route, but sometimes a happy little accident or a nice suggestion makes that deck. Oh yeah, look at that. That worm coil engine is sitting pretty here. I think that was a great addition. Cloud Key. Does Cloud Key also do a nice cost reduction? It might. Because you choose a type, like creature or artifact, and then it reduces that. Let's check out Cloud Key. Cloud Key. There it is. Perfect. Okay, Cloud Key. Where did it go? Oh, it's an artifact, of course, so we'll go down there. Yeah, there it is. Cloud Key enters the battlefield. Choose artifact, creature, enchantment, instant, or sorcery. Spells cost 1 less of the chosen type. Perfect. Okay, we'll throw that in there. Oh, now this is since we're going nice and wide, we're gonna want some Anthem type effects, and there's no Anthem type effect that better fits an artifact deck. Tempered Steel. Perfect. Especially. There it is. Tempered Steel. Artifact creatures you can control get +2/+2. That's an enchantment. Oh, thing of beauty, and it's got some nice Wayne Reynolds art on there. Oh, one of my favorite Magic the Gathering artists. Perfect. Semblance Anvil. Take a look at that. I don't know this card. Let's take a peep. Semblance. Anvil. And am I spelling that right? Semblance Anvil. Oh, it's thinking. It's digging there. Semblance Anvil. There it is. Came up. Okay, what does Semblance Anvil do? 3 for an artifact imprint. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-land card from your hand. Spells you cast share card type with that. It costs 2 less to cast. Okay, so that's just another nice little artifact cost reduction. Okay, we'll throw that in there for now. All right. Sam the Murph saying yo. Yo to you as well. Okay, perfect. We also had another follower about a minute ago. I missed there, so XHoonX, thank you for following. Welcome to the Yawg Ross family. Perfect. Okay. Sonic Screwdriver. Is there an unwinding clock in there? You know, there certainly should be. That's kind of a very good card. Unwinding clock. Okay, unwinding. Kind of classic artifact card. That is going to be our Seedborn Muse effect. Untap all artifacts you control during each other player's untap step. Very nice. That is our Seedborn type effect, which is excellent in any deck, regardless if we're going to be using a lot of tapping abilities. I don't know if we're going to have a lot of tap synergy, but it's always nice to not have your stuff tapped. I'll tell you that. Okay. Oh, here we have a new card from Ixalan. That seems pretty fun. Goes back to our construct action here, and it's 1,000 Moon Smithy. Okay. Let's take a peep at that, and we'll take a long look at this one because this is a new one. It's 4 for a legendary artifact. When it enters the battlefield, create a white gnome soldier artifact token that has power and toughness equal to the number of artifacts and or creatures you control. So a little construct action there. And then at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may tap 5 untapped artifacts you control to transform it. Oh, we're just talking about tap synergy. So let's see what the transform thing does there. And that is a land, artifact land. Add 1 white whenever you cast an artifact or creature using mana produced by the Barracks of the Thousand. Create another one of those construct tokens. So that's going to be super handy. Excellent. Excellent. Sonic Screwdriver is great for scry and untaps. Oh, that sounds good. Let's put it in. Throw it in. Sonic Screwdriver. It's always nice to have a little bit of utility in your deck. And it's a little bit of a mono rock, and it lets you untap other artifacts. Okay, scry, and makes things unblockable. Hey, that's nothing to gawk at there, yeah. Little unblockable. Oh, well, thank you, Goddess of Blunder. You are also a treasure. Thank you for stopping by. Okay. Ooh, I think I must have had a lot of these Ixalan cards lined up in a row here. Because this one's kind of cool. It's a board wipe, but it's also this weird Staxy thing. I don't know if I'm really going to love it in our deck because, you know, our deck's about building up this big army, going nice and wide. And this is sort of pulls it back on us. It does a little bit of board wipe action, which we may not like. But we'll put it in here just to see how it works. Because it's a new card, it's flashy. And a little bit of flash is all right every now and then. Sometimes you want to live it up. And we're just going to live it up a little bit. And this is called Unstable. Unstable. Glyph Bridge. I think I put the wrong card in, did I? Did I get it? I think I did. The wrong one. That put Unstable Frontier, and we'll forget about that. Unstable Glyph Bridge. Now, this is a new card out of Ixalan. So this is 3 white artifact. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it for each player, choose a creature with a power of 2 or less that player controls, then destroy all creatures except the creatures chosen this way. And it has that craft ability, that new craft ability, which it flips into something fun. A 5/3 flying. Whenever an opponent casts a spell during their turn, they can't attack you or planeswalkers you control this turn. It also has each opponent who attacks you this turn can't cast spells. So your opponents really got to make a tough choice there. They either play a spell and don't attack you, or they attack you and they don't get to play spells, which is heckin' awesome. A little bit of stacks here. You know, we have sort of a Staxy sub-theme coming up in here, which I didn't originally plan on, but that's just white. I think that's just white, you know? That's kind of a white thing. Okay, I think we're off the beaten path now. Those were some of the cards that I had lined up, but now we get to do a little exploring, which is always fun. Now we do a little improv, a little exploring, and just find some fun cards to throw in here. How's that sound? That sounds good to me. I'll tell you that. Okay, virtue. This is everything I've ever wanted. Well, I'm glad to accommodate, because this is all about giving the people what they want. That's why I do it. Okay, let's take a see. So let's see where we're at with numbers on everything. So we got 9 artifacts. Seems pretty good for our artifact deck. We didn't have any rocks or anything in yet, but well, those are all standard by-the-by things. We got some enchantments. Got some instants. Some sorceries. And some creatures. How are we looking on creatures? 21 creatures. Now, for a creature deck that's based around creatures, I usually like around 30. 30 is okay. This is everything I didn't know I needed. Well, sometimes giving the people what they want is about giving the people what they didn't know they wanted. And that's okay too. All right, let's see. So I'm going to pull up just some of the cards from Lost Caverns of Ixalan here, those new cards. See if anything really fits in our deck here. Got all the white cards here. Got some of those gnome stuff. Ooh, this is a good card just for removal. Get Lost. It's always good to have a multifaceted removal spell. That's from Ixalan. Get Lost. And let's just go down that to peep that real quick. There we are. Get Lost. That's 2 for an instant. Destroy target creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. It's a controller. Creates 2 map tokens. Now, I'm not against giving an opponent a little gift every now and then. It's nice to do some giving, I think. So, that's good. Let's take a look. We have a wonderful group of folks in chat, so I want to just thank you all again for coming out and spending this evening, this nice Friday evening with me, while we put some cards together for this deck. Okay, I'm still looking at some of these Lost Caverns of Ixalan cards, seeing if anything jumps out at me. We got the main ones that we're looking for. Someone, I think earlier, did suggest O'Hare Tar, so maybe we throw that in there. It does triple our creatures, so let's throw that in there. It's white, and it's Ixalan flavored, which is nice. Apex. Okay, there we go. Let's take a look at that. That's a creature. Costs around 6. Where did it go? Did I get it? Am I missing it? Maybe I missed it. Let's see. Oh, here. Ta. Okay. Huh. Says I put it in, but I'm not seeing it. Am I missing it? Cost 6. Ah, that's weird. It's not coming up. Strange. Well, I don't know why that's doing that. Weird. Okay, we'll skip over that for now. We'll try to find some other stuff. All right. Let's see. And of course, as always, if anyone has any nice suggestions, I'm open to suggestions. Ah, here we go. Spring-loaded trap. More removal that we're looking for there. Spring. Is that 2 words? That is spring and then a little dash there. Just a little dash. Where's the dash here on this keyboard? There it is. Spring loaded. Saw Blades. Another Ixalan card. And that is an artifact. And where are our artifacts here? Must be further down. Spring loaded. Ooh, we may have to do... Oh, no, there it is. Came up. I was worried that our cards aren't appearing. I was like, well, I think we're going to have to reload the page or something. This is spring-loaded Saw Blades. 2 for a flash artifact. When it enters the battlefield, deals 5 damage to target tapped creature an opponent controls, and has that fun craft ability. So let's flip that and see what it does. I see what we were doing earlier. We were putting in the wrong Ohir-Ta card. Let's bring a little trap. Flip, flip, baby. There we are. It's a 5/5. Tap 2 other untapped artifacts you control to make it a creature until end of turn. So it seems that we may have some tap going on here. So maybe putting that unwinding clock was a good idea. Excellent suggestion. Do we have Illustrious Warglyph? Looks like a good new one. Let's take a look. Illustrious Wanderglyph. Oh yes, no, yeah, of course we put that in there. That's that creature there. Okay, that's the Wanderglyph. Perfect. Yeah, no, that was actually one of the cards that inspired this deck idea in the first place. I saw that card and I was like, darn, I wish I had a deck that could slide right into. So, perfect suggestion, JJ. So, excellent. Okay, let's get back over here and take a look here at some of these artifact cards. Okay. Oh, this is a good enchantment that'll just turn any one of our creatures into a nice little construct, and that is All That Glitters. Perfect. Let's go check that out. All That Glitters is an enchantment. There we are. Ooh, we got a new fun version of the art here. Basically just turns all the creature that's enchanted into a construct. Going to get +1/+1 for each artifact and enchantment we control, which is super handy. Peacecraft, what's the commander? All right, so our commander here today is Skrelv, Defector Mite. So we're doing artifact mono white. It's called Titanium White, the deck. Yes, Skrelv. Commander Plate. An excellent choice for a mono-colored deck. Commander Plate. There we are. That is a $35 card, I tell you. Now, that might break my budget a little bit, but certainly a good suggestion. And something to work towards. Let's take a look at Commander's Plate. That's 1 for an artifact equipment. Gets +3/+3 protection from each color that's not in your commander's color identity. Equip Commander 3. Equip 5. Pretty good card if I don't say so myself. Definitely fits that $35 price tag. Oh, I hope they reprint that soon and get that cost down. All right. Taking a look here. See what else we got. Oh, this is a nice card. It's an artifact creature. This sort of will give me some more direction on where we're going next. Annex Century, which is from our Phyrexia sets here. It's a creature. Annex Century. It's cost 3, so let's go here. There it is. It's 3 for 1/4 artifact creature, Phyrexian. Toxic 1. When it enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature and opponent controls with a mana value of 3 or less until it leaves the battlefield. So, little removal, but it's also just a nice artifact creature with a nice 1/4 body on it, and it also has some toxic in case we want to stack up with those Skrelv mites, which is handy, handy, handy. All right, just cruising on through here. We may, you know what? Speaking of the Phyrexians, I know we didn't say we were going to specifically make it a Phyrexian deck, but let's do splicers. We're going to go into the search here. We're just going to search splicer because there's going to be a whole bunch of them coming up here. All right, perfect. These are all going to fit in perfectly in our deck. So we'll throw them in. Blade Splicer, Darksteel Splicer, Master Splicer, Sensor Splicer, Splicer Skill. Throw that in there as well. Just a Splicer party. Mithril Coat or Time Ward if you want a functional budget option. I am a very big fan of Mithril Coat. That is a great card. Excellent card. Okay, let's take a peek. Back to the deck list. So we threw all our splicers in there. We got 27 creatures. That's not bad. That's not bad. And let's put in Ohir there. I realized what we were doing before. We were putting in the eye of Ohir-Ta instead of the actual creature itself. So let's take a look at that real quick. Now, this is going to triple our creature tokens, which is going to be hell of a tripler. Because we got Mondrak, we got creature tokens coming from left and right. Left and right. All our happy little mites. All our happy little gnomes. Oh yes, I'm loving that. That's great. Okay. Let me just keep cruising through here. Take a look at our... okay. This is an artifact that creates Tinker's coat. Tinker's tote. This is another Ixalan card. It's just a straight artifact that creates gnomes. 2 gnomes as ATBs. So I think having a little bit of ETB stuff is good. Because of that, we're going to throw in there a teleportation circle there. Teleport. I always have problems spelling that one. T-E-L-E. Oops. T-E-L-E. Teleportation circle. This will just help us with any ETBs that we have. Teleportation circle. Down here. That'll just double up, give us a repeatable ETB engine, which will be nice. Managed play. Awesome. Okay. What's the card that makes 1/1s and turns into a 4/4? Let's think. Organic extinction will kill everything but your artifact creatures. Essence of Orthodoxy. Double your artifact for Phyrexian every time Mite is made. Ooh, yes, that's a good suggestion. Essence of Orthodoxy is an excellent suggestion. I recently had that in my Phyrexian deck, which was a Brimaz deck. Essence. Ooh, too many S's. Is that what I'm doing here? Yes. Essence of Orthodoxy. Yeah, so I have a Brimaz deck that does a slightly similar thing to this deck, but I think I'm going to take that deck apart and retool it into a more focused artifact deck, because that is the one function of that deck that I really love, is all the tokens and everything. So where did that go? Let's look at Essence of Orthodoxy. That is a creature. Essence of Orthodoxy. And I think it costs around 5. There it is. 5 for 3/3 flying. When it or another Phyrexian enters the battlefield under your control, incubate 2, which is just going to make us more artifacts on artifacts, which is great. Perfect. Okay, let's take a look at Organic Extinction, just to check on that. My beard is falling off. Chat, keep me honest. If my beard starts flying off, yeah, let me know. Sometimes I'm not paying attention to my facial hair. Okay. Keep it on. Keep it strong. Keep it strong. Okay. What we're looking for. Organic Extinction. Organic Extinction. Let's take a peep at that. And that is, there it is. It's sorcery, improvise, destroy all non-artifact creatures. I like it. Throw it in there. Very nice. Let's see. A Retrofitter Foundry. Let's take a look at that. How are we doing? We're at around 62 cards in the main deck here, which means we're coming to a close on our non-land cards. So we're actually doing pretty good. Retrofitter Foundry. $9 card. Nice, but must be powerful. Let's take a peep. It's an artifact. Retrofitter Foundry. Ah, there it is. Tap 3, untap it. Tap 2, create a servo. Tap 1, tap it, sacrifice the servo, create a colorless Thopter. Oh, I know this card. Very nice. Well, this will give us a little bit of stuff to dump mana into. Very nice. Unsummoned Skull. Thank you for subbing. Really appreciate that. And gifting us up there to DMP Altars. Always nice to see you. If you don't know the skull, you should. And this is sort of giving me an idea for just some utility stuff that way. It's good to throw in a monocolored deck. There's going to be Caged Sun. Caged Sun, just a great utility. It's going to double up all of our mono white mono there. Just a nice thing to have in a monocolored deck. Yes, that's the Coach J row there. All right. So we're doing all right. We're just looking through things here, and I'm seeing a pretty substantial deck. Looks like we have a nice mana curve. Got a lot of artifact synergy, token creation, token doublers. Everything is looking great. I'm really quite pleased with how this turned out. I mean, we've been going about an hour, which is, and I had a lot of this sort of pre-worked out, these artifacts that have been had rolling in my mind for a while now. So, Amulet of Vigor. Let's take a look. Gonna have to make some cuts eventually. Amulet of Vigor. There it is. $20 card. Now, this is the thing that makes things come in untapped, I believe. Not a bad idea. Where is it? There it is. Whenever a permanent enters the battlefield tapped under your control, untap it. I'm trying to think if we have a lot of things coming in untapped. This is good for those tapped lands, but I don't think we got a lot of things coming in untapped. Or coming in tapped. I don't know. Trying to think. But overall, we're doing all right. Let's think. Do we need more removal? Is there any more removal? You can always have some nice targeted removal. Classics, swords. We're working with white here. So, always nice to have a little sword handy. Swords. To plowshares. And then path to exile. Path to exile. Exile. Where are we? Exile. There. Perfect. Okay. There's a couple of targeted removal spells that are just classics. Oldies but goodies. Might have lands and creatures coming in tapped. You're right. It's entirely possible. It does remove effects like that Anointed Procession, which is nice. All right. Let me just zoom out here, sort of just take a look at what we got. Oh, what is that one? White Suns. White Suns. It's another board wipe, but it's a nice one that has sort of a one-sided effect where it wipes everyone, but then gives you a bunch of creatures. Our friend Little Mite Friends, which are perfect for this deck. White Suns. Zenith, is it Zenith Twilight? White Suns Twilight, I believe it is. Yes, there it is. So we have a lot of board wipes in this deck. Way more than I think I really want. So we may end up cutting a few of those when I go to cuts here, but White Suns Twilight is just a great card. Does a lot. Gives you life for how much mana you dump into it, and it creates mites for how much mana you dump into it, as long as that's greater than 5. Which, if we're board wiping, we're going to be board wiping late in the game anyway. Trying to build up that board state again. Exercise the Imperfect is a good newish removal set. Exercise the Imperfect. Oh, I know that one. That one's from the Brewing deck as well. I've checked that one out, and I don't think I'm as much of a fan because it gives them could be a potentially big creature. Twilight is what you want. Yeah, Twilight is probably a better choice on board wipes here. So I may take out Rebirth and keep Twilight, but we'll see. Let's take a look. I'm just going to skim through some white cards here. I know there's some straight artifact cards that I've missed because I just didn't have them keyed up here. Oh, ooh, a nice reanimation. Brilliant. Restoration. Now this is going to bring all our creatures back, or artifacts, after they get wiped. So that's a nice little protection to have. So, good one. Good one to have. Let's see. All right, just cruising through here, really. Just checking out some stuff. Pyre of Heroes. Ooh, I do like Pyre of Heroes. Although we have a similar Pyre of Heroes effect in our Oswald Fiddlebender, so I may not double up on that. That's sort of a similar effect that lets us tutor out artifacts, though in a different manner. Let's take a look. That is a good removal spell. Dark Steel Mutation. I don't know if anyone knows that card. Oh, let's take a look here. Okay. Trying to think. We pretty much hit a lot of the good stuff here. What other suggestions does chat have? Lion sash to fight graveyards. Oh, that's an interesting card. Let's pull that up. Just take a look. Lion sash. Lion sash. There it is. It's an equipment. Actually, no, it's a creature that becomes an equipment, isn't it? I think it is. There it is. It's 2 for 1/1. Tap 1 white. Exile target card from the graveyard. If a permanent card, put a 1/1 counter on Lion Sash, and then equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each creature or each counter on Lion Sash. And you can reconfigure that onto another creature. It's kind of nice. Always nice to have a little bit of graveyard hate. All right, perfect. Okay. All right, we're at 70 cards in the main deck, which means we're going to have to make cuts somewhere there. You know, this is just version 1 of a deck. You know, it's always nice to get everything laid out in front of you before you make some hard commits to what you're working on. Did Archaeomancer's map make it? Let's take a look, Gunner. Now, let's see if I can spell Archaeomancer. Archaeomancer. Let's take a look. That's going to be an artifact. It's going to be... let's take a look. It's a white artifact. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for 2 planes and put them in your hand. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under opponent's control, that player has more lands than you. You may play a land from your hand onto the battlefield. Excellent suggestion, Gunner. Wow. That's going to be great. That's going to be a great card. I can already tell. Sort of a little bit of a, not a full land tax, but, you know, similar type of effect, which is nice. Just something to help you catch up if you're running behind on mana. There it is. Okay, let's take a look through here. Seeing if anything jumps out. May wrap the stream up soon, you know. This was just sort of a short little stream where we put some cards down on paper. Just our first version 1 here, you know, to get us started. And then later, I'll refine all this and make it a little more. Oh, there it goes. There goes my mustache. I knew this would happen. Thank goodness. We're going to be wrapping up soon. Extra planar lens. Let's take a look. Yeah, now I'm just sort of gonna take some suggestions from chat to see if anyone has any last minute grand ideas that'll help us out here. Extra planar lens. This is the group section of the Yawg cast here. Extra planar lands. Enters the battlefield. You may exile target land you control. Whenever a land with the same name as the exiled is tapped for the mana, add 1 more of that. So that'd be good, something good for our monocolored deck. Very nice. Speaking of lands, let's go down the lands route. We haven't talked much about lands yet. There is a couple of lands that I think will fit just right. Ancient Den. Let's see if I can spell ancient. Now that's going to be the real interest. Oh, no. How do you spell ancient? Ancient Den. Is it I-E? Always I before E. There it is. Ancient Den. Let's go down on our lands and take a little gander down there. All right. Let's get rid of this Unstable Frontier, because what the heck is that doing here? I think that was an accidental add. Ancient Den. That's going to be one of our artifact lands. Always good to have your artifact lands to bump up that artifact count. Okay, that's speaking of other artifact lands. We'll do Darksteel Citadel. Darksteel Citadel. Perfect. And then Treasure Vault. Treasure Vault's another artifact land. I think those are the 3 that are probably legal for our deck here, which is okay, just to have the 3. It's nice to have just a little extra spice to bump up our artifact count. Now, let's think. Those are good lands to have. If I missed anything else, any other artifact creator creation. Let's see. Overall, I feel pretty good about this deck. I think it'll be really fun to play. Core Haven. That's a white card. White land. Core Haven. Let's take a peep at that. I know that one. Going down. There we go. Going all the way back down to lands. That is, prevent all combat damage to be dealt to by a target attacking creature this turn. Very nice. Put that up there. Got the Osgiliath version there from the Lord of the Rings. Excellent. Well, trying to think if there's anything else I want to add. This deck has come together and we just need to make some cuts. That's something I'll take on later and iron things out. And really sit down and parse things out. Let's see. Look at all our happy little friends. Our happy little cards here. And that, I think, is Titanium White. So, I really want to thank everybody for joining me here this evening. You know, it's just a nice short little stream to brew a little bit. Thanks everybody for joining Yawg here this evening. And Titanium White, the deck we brewed up. Really appreciate that. I'll see you next time on The Joy of Brewing with Yawg.